We're going to call the Board of Election meeting for October 5th in order, and we'll have roll call.
Controller Al Wickham.
Here.
Dale Sabatich.
Here.
Sam Milkis.
Here. We set this time aside for public comment. If you have public comment, our rule is 3 minutes, and please introduce yourself when you speak. So whoever wants to go first, I assume you're here for public comment.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Do you want me to come up there?
Right.
Right here?
Do whichever.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Donna Recupero. I'm from East Pennsboro Township. I'm a committee person in East Pennsboro 4. I requested a current copy of Cumberland County Republican Committee list in September, and they emailed a copy to me a couple days later. My name has been removed from the list as East Pennsboro's committee woman in 4. Can you tell me why I was removed, and is this a mistake from the Board of Elections? Okay.
Is that true?
That's one question I have to you guys.
Okay.
Why was my name removed? Okay.
I look to the director.
So when you are elected, which the last time the Republican committee individuals were up was 2022. Once you're elected, we send you a certificate of election. And then after that, it is up to the committee, your bylaws, whatever rules and regulations you have. And then I receive every few months or so an update from the chair of the Republican Party, any appointments or resignations that he has, and then we update the list that we keep. So all we're required to do is keep an updated list as we know it to be of the current committee people. So that's what we've done. And so if your name came off, then that means you were on a document stating that either you resigned or just recently we received some notice of people being suspended or removed as well.
Okay.
So we've updated that list.
So
Okay.
the list actually comes from the party.
Correct. Yep, we are not in charge of the list.
Okay.
Okay, it comes from the party. Okay, then my next thing that I want to state for the record is that I was voted in. I was not appointed by Cumberland County Republican Committee. Okay, and I did receive a certified copy from the Board of Election that I had a 4-year term, and I'm here to request that my name be restored to the committee list because the voters are the ones that elected me for that office, and I don't fall under that qualification with having a felony or something else that they can take me off and that stuff. That my name should come off the list.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next person.
I'll go. My name's Kelly Pottiger. I was elected as
And you're from?
I'm from Silver Spring Township and Silver Spring 3. And I was elected by my constituents, May 31st, 2022. It's on my certificate for a 4-year term. My name has also been removed from the list, and wanted to see, so once you're saying that it's the party is the one who sends you the notification. Do they send you the updated list with our names removed, or did you see where they said suspended and then you removed our names? Or you just received a list that did not have our names on it?
We get an updated spreadsheet with your names removed, if that's the case, or the appointments filled in those spots, along with a letter stating who was removed or appointed or resigned, or whatever the case may be for each individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the list that you just received, this list without our name, without anything, with our names removed from it. That's how you received it.
We receive that list with your names removed, and then a letter accompanies it saying that you've been removed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I also asked that the Board of Elections look to, I was elected by my constituents for a 4-year term, and that my name be reinstated on that.
So you want it to be part of the record.
Correct.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Michael Zarconi, resident of East Pennsboro Township. I also have a certificate from the Board of Elections stating that I was elected for a 4-year term. It actually says that I was duly elected to the office of Republican Committeeman of East Penn 7 for a 4-year term. I got the answers about the spreadsheet. I just want to state that I never resigned my position. I think there was communication to the Bureau of Elections that I had resigned. That is not true. That is false. So I would also like to get my name added back on the list. Again, I just want to ask too, if we are duly elected by the people to an office, what right does a private club have to negate the votes of the people of my precinct?
I don't think we have much to say about that, but okay. So
We don't. The Board of Elections doesn't become involved in what the rules of any local part, like the county party's rules are in terms of how the county party might govern itself, for whether a committee person who's been elected remains in that position, or if the party has a rule that permits it to remove that person from the position. The only thing I believe that, at least speaking for myself, that we know about this is what we've read in the media. And we, the board, when I say we would never become involved in local county party rules, self-governance matters, et cetera.
Okay. My understanding is that the bylaws do not contain any provision to remove elected committee people.
That may be true. I have not read the current bylaws.
Okay, I'm just stating that for the record. I just want to ask too, are public funds used to administer the election of committee people in the precincts in Cumberland County?
Public funds are used for all elections in Cumberland County.
And then when voters enter the voting booth, are they told that some people on the ballot are there to serve in a private club or party, or are they under the impression that they are voting for someone to represent them in that precinct?
We don't discuss with voters when they go in the voting booth who they're voting for and why. That's not appropriate.
Okay, and yeah, my only request again is to be reinstated in the list, because I think the communications about my resignation were in error.
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Next individual. Anyone else have a comment?
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, my name's Christine Young, and I am from Camp Hill Precinct 5. I also have a letter, I had a certificate, but I couldn't find it. So Bethany sent me a letter saying that I was a committee woman, that I have been elected in the May 17, 2022 primary election as a committee for 4 years. And I was removed from, I was not aware that I was removed until I was told that I was removed from the list. So I'm asking you, was I removed with them at the same time with the same list from the county chairman?
I don't have the list in
Yes.
front of me, so I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, so that's how you removed me, just from a list from the county, is that correct? And are we considered?
I don't remove you. I just wanted to make that clear.
No.
I don't remove you. I
Okay.
simply am tasked with keeping an updated list of committee people for each party. So
Okay.
that way, if I'm asked, hey, can I see a copy of it? I provide it. I don't add or remove anyone.
Oh, who removes us then?
I get a list from the party. That list then becomes the current list in my office that I hand out to people.
Okay.
Okay?
So we.
I do no adding or removing.
Yeah.
How did we get removed then? Who removed, like, how
Well,
did?
the list comes to us,
Yes,
to her, and then she has to update it. So it's what the party says the people are.
okay, and so I do have a question while we were talking here. So if are we considered county, level? Is that count as our office, we have our committee
Your
office?
precinct. your
Yeah,
precinct.
precinct, yes.
Mhm.
Is that a county level? Like, because I'm just wondering, where does it stop? Can somebody send you a letter and remove one of the commissioners from, and you would just take him off? Make
No,
it
it would
vacant?
only has to do with your committee, who are the elected or appointed positions. So we don't know, we don't keep track of who's elected, who's not. That's up to the party, just like the Democratic Party sends us one, the Republican Party sends us one.
Yeah, so I guess my suggestion would be, would it be possible if you got a list to see if the person actually did resign, or if they passed away, or why you would be removing them? Because I wouldn't think you'd be able to remove them unless they were voted
Well, I think the
Or
issue
someone
is
took their
that
place.
we only do what, we have nothing to say about that. That's more of a convenience. That the party asked us to make a list of the committee people. That's what we, the different people, that's what we do, Democratic and Republican. If the Democrats send us a statement, a list, we do the same thing for them. It's whoever the party says are the committee people, that's what we go with.
It's the chair of the party that provides us with the
You're
information.
the record. So, but when we were voted,
Right.
when we were voted in, that's, you added us to the list, correct? 'Cause
When you were
voted-
voted in, we sent you a certificate.
Yeah.
That becomes the new list. Then, as the years go on or time goes on, we receive updated information from the chair of the party as to the disposition of the list.
So
Okay.
you're the,
So we don't remove, we don't add, I simply keep a list as a courtesy. I don't even need to, but we keep a list as a courtesy.
yeah, and
So that when you all call and want an updated one, we're able to give it.
And I'm not trying, don't get me wrong, nothing against you, I'm trying to understand how the process works, because I
Sure.
feel like if I was voted in by my constituents, I don't see how someone can just say you're removed, because that just leaves it up for corruption. And if you go by that list, he can just send you anything saying, hey, take this person off, I don't like this person, and you're gonna take them off, and I don't feel that there's something wrong there, so I'm wondering if you guys can change how you, like, in order for us to be taken off, somebody should run against us and we should, or we should resign, or we should be, like, something happen health-wise where we can no longer fulfill our position.
I think this is the first time we've run into this.
Okay,
Normally, whatever the party says people are, there's always people either changing their mind or whatever. So when the party sends us a list, we're just, as a convenience to everybody, we update the list. That's what we do.
okay,
Now,
so,
there might be something in your bylaws giving the president or the chairperson the authority to do that.
yeah,
But
there's
you
not,
have to, and we don't,
there's not,
Yeah,
that's the problem. So I would ask, so since I was elected by my constituents in Camp Hill Precinct 5, and I was removed by the chair of the Cumberland County, and he did not have the right to do that, I would ask that I be put back on the list as the committee person for Camp Hill 5, and I would like that to be stated for the record.
Okay, thank you. Next person.
Daryl Young, I'm Camp Hill 5, and I was elected on May 17th, 2022 during the primary election. I did not resign, quit, or meet any qualifications that would be able to be removed from that position, and I asked to be put back on the list.
Thank you. One other?
Yeah, my name is Robert Zambuto. I was elected for Mechanicsburg 5th Precinct. That's where I'm from. Like the others here, I've experienced a similar situation where my name has been removed from the official list. I did not resign. I did not move out of my precinct. I did not in any other way meet any sort of disqualification. For clarity purpose, what I'd like to understand is the relationship between the election and the party. Are we elected to a position, a public position by our community that participates in a party club or organization? Or are we elected by that organization in a private capacity? Because my feeling is that I'm elected by my neighbors, my community, the public at large, who expect that their vote actually counts for something and means for something, and that my participation in this private organization is not necessarily, like I can be an elected person for this, but not have to belong to that second party, second organization. I do have elected responsibilities, such as if there's a vacancy on the ballot, the General Assembly has assigned me as the elected representative of my community to participate in a function to replace a vacancy on the ballot. So I do serve in an official capacity for my public community. And whether or not that organization feels that I should be invited to their meetings or not, does not negate the authority that my community has placed in me to act in their representative capacity. So I'm not sure if that's something that can be answered here today, but it is I am still the duly elected representative of my people. So for the record, again, my name has been removed from the committee list. I do have a valid active certificate stating that I am an elected committee person to represent Mechanicsburg 5, and I'm requesting that my name be re-added to the committee list as an elected representative.
So has the party had a meeting? Have your organization had a meeting since that time? Have you had a discussion with them as far as?
Yes, the party had a meeting on July 22nd. I don't want to get into the details of what went on because I guess that's not really, all the ins and outs of the problems with that meeting is really not going to be solved here. But they did take a vote. But they did not remove any of us. There were 8 of the 9 people were not removed from the committee. Only one individual was voted to be removed. And even that, there's questions about the voting results, but none of us were removed. Our name should appear as the committee people in those positions that are elected to.
I would have to just say that there's no language in our bylaws and that can be determined some other place. But just also noted that we actually voted last year on language to be able to remove committee people, and it was voted down. It was voted no by the committee people to be able to remove committee people.
It seems like your recourse is actually with your party. Somehow there ought to be some recourse for you, but I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you.
Clarify, Cumberland County Republican Committee is who our recourse should be with.
That seems like that would be the case.
Okay.
I mean, we only provide a service, a convenience for you to have so if anybody wants a list of who the committee people are, we have that list, what the party has given us, what the Democrats gave us.
Okay, so I want to clarify something with you. Betsy Smith was my neighbor. And she told me, and I've had other people tell me, that we are considered the lowest elected official that there is. We are in the chain going up through, okay? That we are elected by the voters. It is no different than you folks circulating petitions to get on the ballot. Right. We are the lowest level of an elected official in the community. We represent the community and talk to the voters.
But it seems like you're not low in the list for the party itself. It seems like we have
a very important.
You should be an important part of that process.
Yes.
So I don't know what you do about that, but internally, your party has to address that some way. Seems like maybe someone could call a meeting. Maybe one of you could call a meeting with your party. I don't know what your procedures are, what the bylaws are. I understand all of your concerns, and it certainly is difficult. But I don't know what we can only make it part of the public record, which we've done here today. And wish we could do more, but I don't think we can at this point, except to clarify how you get on the list and how you get off the list.
Can I ask one more question? Thank you for keeping the list and keeping it updated. But my question to you would be, if we are elected, just like I said, I don't think anybody could send you a list and say, hey, take this county commissioner off or take this treasurer off because they were voted in. And I think you would have a problem with that. So I think you need to think about how you keep that list. Like you should get the list that we were voted in. You should get the list from the day of the election. And we should stay on that list until you have proof that we were taken off for either health reasons, for removal because of some kind of illegal thing that we did, or some kind. So in other words, like you're just listening to a person who might have some kind of agenda against someone. And then all of a sudden they're taken off. And now we would have, I understand what you're saying. We have to get a lawyer and we have to go against the party. But that's a lot, but it seems unfair because other elected officials don't have to do that. They're not taken off just because someone tells you to take them off. So I disagree with how you're taking us off. So if you could put that.
I think we can address that at a later date.
Mr. Wicombe, in the letter that we get with our certificate, it reads in paragraph 3, if you choose not to accept your elected position, please notify both the party to which you have been elected and the Cumberland County Borough borough of election in writing. When notifying the borough of election, please return your certificate of elections. That's what it says on the paper that we get when we get our certificate.
Okay,
So none of us have we're
No.
notifying you that we have not given up our position.
I just want to say I appreciate all of you explaining what's going on. I feel like I have a better understanding of it, and I appreciate that. I think from our council, we're just in a position where we're not able to do anything about it. As we've said, it's the committee that you've got to go to pursue this.
but does the solicitor have anything else you want to?
Maybe, I mean, what, so Ms. Young, with your question, which is why can't anyone just say, remove this elected person? I think where the distinction comes for a committee person, and your questions here are the Republican Party, I think they could equally apply for the Democratic Party, is that the bylaws that govern where the committee, how the committee elects to govern itself, is a layer in addition to what that indicates how a party chair communicates and updates the list of who's in those positions. And we don't control that. We don't have a say in that, of course. We just react to it. So that is the distinction between the communications updating who is serving in which committee person positions, in contrast to other elected positions, which are not subject to update or change based on how the party may govern itself. I don't know if that answers your question, but that would be our position, and it's how we understand that we can't take action on this matter.
I understand what you're saying, but I do have a hard time wrapping my head around how we are any different than any other elected official. And I understand that there's bylaws, but just as Bob was trying to say, when I walked around to get petitioned to get on the ballot, I got on the ballot, I got elected by my constituents. I had no idea that I had to even belong to the Cumberland County Republican Party. I was just told, hey, I can show up at meetings and I can vote. And I'm like, well, that's great. But I did not know that. So I never had to sign the bylaws. I didn't have to sign anything that said I had to abide by any bylaws. And by the way, the bylaws say that there's nothing in there that says that they can remove committee people. Again, so I know we're just like, beating a dead horse, but I feel that you should talk about, if you're the Board of Elections and you're keeping track of who is elected into office, I feel like you should also have a legal way to take them off, and it should be a lot easier than just getting a list from someone. So I would like you to look into that if you could, for down the future, because this is like, all of a sudden, there were 9 of us, and, you can agree with us or disagree, but what it comes down to is, if you go by the bylaws, or if you go by whether we're elected, we were removed, and we feel it was not the correct way to do it, or not, it was illegal. And
The whole process.
yeah,
I think at this time, we could take it under consideration. That's about all we can do right now. I can tell you, we'll probably have the subject in another meeting. But at this point, we're gonna have to go back to the agenda. We thank you all for attending.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your time.
making it part of the record.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, so if you all want to leave, you can, or you can stay.
thank you.
Thanks for attending. At this point, we'll go to approval of the minutes.
We have one online.
Oh, we have one online. I'm sorry.
We have a CM.
Okay, CM, do you have any comment? CM, did you raise your hand if you have comment?
I didn't raise my
No
hand.
comment.
I'm just here to observe.
Pardon me?
Just
I said I didn't raise my hand. I'm just observing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay,
I'll move to approve the minutes of the September 11 meeting.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Discussion and approval of filing a petition for the appointment persons to fill vacancies in county district election board.
Yes, so the Bethany's office became aware of certain vacancies, and the election code prescribes a process for how those vacancies on our local election boards are filled. And it's via the Board of Elections filing a petition with the proposed names to fill those replacements. So if, and this is a standard procedure that the board goes through nearly every primary or election, depending upon the current slate of, who's able to complete their term. So the proposed petition with the names of the proposed individuals is provided for you. If the board is so inclined, it could make a motion authorizing and approving the filing of that petition. There will be a hearing scheduled before our court. And presumably the judge will approve our petition and those folks will be appointed to fill those vacancies.
And it would be for the vacancy in that position.
Correct.
The term was left.
Absolutely.
Any discussion or questions?
And these people have confirmed they're interested in serving.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
So looking for a motion to appoint, to approve the.
I'll move that we authorize the filing of the petition for the appointment of vacant judge and minority inspector positions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a discussion and approval of a temporary polling place change for South Newton.
Yes, so the South Newton Fire Company, where we normally have the polling location, was undergoing some construction, which they were told would be done before the November election. But as things happen, it will not be done. And so we had to find something else quickly. Luckily, the church, Trinity Fellowship Center, which is less than a mile away, is willing to be a temporary location for us. We've surveyed it, it's ADA compliant. So we think it'll be a great location. What we'll do is, because it's temporary, we will not send voters a new voter ID card because it isn't a permanent change, but we will send them a postcard that will tell them, this is your new location, this was your old location. We send it on bright green, kind of obnoxious colored paper, so hopefully they'll read it. And, and we'll get those out Monday based on your approval.
Okay. Any further discussion or question with that? Can we have a motion to approve the temporary polling place change for South Newton Township?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Update from the director.
Yeah, so just a couple things. The primary date for next year still has yet to be set. They tried to vote on it, but apparently they were sneaking some other things into the bill, which is now prolonged the process. So we still don't know April 2nd, April 23rd, March 19th. I've no idea. So we're still waiting to hear about that. Obviously, like we explained last time, the longer it takes them to decide, the harder it will be for me to get the word out and get my polling places and poll workers to agree to those dates, so hopefully they say something soon.
Can I just ask you
yeah.
that, assuming they went with the earliest of those dates,
March 19th.
so if it was March 19th, by when would you need to know?
Well, the petition period for people running for a primary in March 19th would be over the Christmas holiday. So, we would wrap up this election and fly right into the next. There would be no break in between for sure. So we need to know as soon as possible. One, to make sure that obviously our polling locations are available those dates, our poll workers are available, and for us to get the process started, because that backs up everything. That backs up mail-in ballot deadlines, that backs up registration deadlines. it's going to change the entire calendar significantly.
Since there's more than one date or two dates, it's really impossible.
Yeah.
How do you check? Because there's too many different choices.
What I did was send out a survey to our polling places and our poll workers, giving them all three possibilities and said, are you available? and please pencil us in for all three is what I said. So hopefully they're doing that. And also just to kind of gauge for us, like, okay, if they pick April 2nd, how many poll workers said, yes, they could be there, how much are we gonna be struggling, So we'll see, but at this point. And April 2nd has its own set of issues because that's the Monday after, or Tuesday after Easter. So Good Friday, churches are closed Friday, so that would disrupt,
Right, getting stuff set up.
getting the machines
my,
and,
yes.
So there's really no good date is really what it comes down to. I don't really know. So anyway, that's where we are with that. So obviously I will let you know as soon as I know, or you'll probably see it on the news. Mail-in ballots. We will begin mailing ballots out next week. As of right now, we have 17,103 people who have applied for a mail-in or absentee ballot. 10,657 of those are Democrats, 4,729 are Republicans, and 1,717 are others. So Green, Independent, Libertarian, all those different parties. And then I did determine, we normally, historically now have had some extra ballot drop-off times that are outside of our normal business hours. So November 2nd, it's a Thursday, will be open from 4:30. We'll stay open until 7 p.m. So until 7 p.m. that night. And then November 4th, which is the Saturday before the election, will be open 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for voters to drop off their ballots. So I'll get with Samantha in communications and make sure we blast it out everywhere so people know. And obviously we'll be telling voters who call in and that sort of thing.
So if somebody wants a write-in ballot, they still have time to mail in ballot,
Yes, they have until October 31st to apply.
just October.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just the last thing is the Secretary of State came to visit. Dale was there, Stacy was there. It was a wonderful visit. I think we really got to show him some things and kind of show off our new facility and my great staff. And so I think it really went well. It was a very good visit. He really took his time and listened to us and our concerns and.
Yeah, he had some background in elections, so it made it a little bit better.
It really did. Yeah, it really did. He's really understanding about a lot of the struggles we go through. So that was nice to hear and see. Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. So that's all I have.
Okay. The board have anything they want to bring up this morning? No. Okay. We do not have a request for executive session today, so if there's no other business, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting today.
We have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all for attending.